Hi everyone, it's Emmett from Pi My Life Up. In this video, we'll be showing you how to set up Jellyfin using a Docker container. Jellyfin is one of the best multimedia servers that you can set up. It is very similar to Plex in its functionality, but doesn't have any of its features locked behind a paywall like Plex does. With Jellyfin, you can easily self-host all of your media files and have them streamed to any compatible Jellyfin client. It has support for almost any media format that you throw at it, including ebooks. You don't really lose out on anything by choosing to go with Jellyfin over Plex. Now in this tutorial, we'll be using Docker to run Jellyfin. The main advantage of using Docker is that it just makes the whole installation process incredibly straightforward, especially if you're already using Docker to run other software on your machine. Now to start off this guide, we'll be showing you how to install Docker onto a Linux machine. If you already have Docker installed, you can skip these first few steps. Our first step is to ensure the curl and wget packages are installed in your system. On any Debian based system, you can install these by typing sudo space apt space install space curl space wget space -y and then pressing enter. You'll probably be prompted to enter your password for your super user. Once installed, we can use curl to install Docker by typing curl space -s capital S capital L space https ://get.docker.com space pipe symbol space sh and then press enter. This command will grab the official Docker install script and run it directly. Once Docker is installed, we'll want to add our current user to the Docker group. We can achieve this by typing in sudo space usermod space -a capital G space docker space $symbol and then user all in uppercase. For this user change to probably be read in by the rest of your system, we'll want to reboot it by typing sudo space reboot. We can now continue on and begin setting up the Jellyfin Docker container. The first thing we'll need to do is get the ID of our current user. We can get this ID by typing ID space -u. You'll want to copy down this number somewhere as you will need it later on in this guide. For our example, you can see that our ID was 1000. Our next step is to create a couple of directories that Jellyfin will use to store its data. Create this first directory by typing in sudo space mkdir space -p space /opt /stacks /jellyfin /cache and then press enter. This will be used by Jellyfin to store all of its cache data. Next, create our next directory by typing in sudo space mkdir space -p /opt /stacks /jellyfin /config. This directory will be used to store all of the config files for Jellyfin. Next, we want to ensure that your current user owns these directories by typing sudo space chown space $symbol user all in uppercase :symbol space /opt /stacks /jellyfin /cache and then space /opt /stacks /jellyfin /config. We can now move on and set up the Docker Compose file that will set up and manage the Jellyfin Docker container. To start this process, we'll change into the Jellyfin stacks directory we created by typing cd space /opt /stacks /jellyfin and then pressing enter. Now that we're in the right directory, we'll download a base config file that we can edit. To do this, type in sudo space wget space https ://get.pimylifeup.com /compose /jellyfin /compose.yaml and then press enter. Once downloaded, open the compose file for editing by typing sudo space nano space compose.yaml. The first thing we'll want to do is replace the user ID placeholder with the ID that you got earlier. In our case, we'll be replacing these placeholders with the number 1000. Next, we'll need to tell our Jellyfin Docker container where our media files are actually located. To do this, go down to our placeholder and replace it with the full path to where your media files are located. For this example, we'll point in ours to /home/paywall/movies. You can mount as many different volumes as you would like. The value on the left hand side is the mount path on your local machine. The value on the right is where it will exist within the Docker container. For example, if we wanted to create another mount at /home/paywall/TV shows, we would use the following. The key part here is we used a different name within Docker. This folder would have been called /media2. Now we don't actually need this, so we'll delete this line. The final placeholder we need to replace is where you'll specify either your domain name or IP address. For this example, we'll be using the local IP address of our Jellyfin machine, which is 192.168.0.209. Once you've finished editing this file, you can save and quit by pressing Ctrl+X, Y, and then enter. With that done, all we need to do now to start Jellyfin Media server using Docker is to type in docker space compose space up space -d and then press enter. By using -d at the end, we are ensuring that Docker will detach from the current terminal session once it has started up Jellyfin. This will enable it to continue running in the background. To finish installing the Jellyfin Docker container, you will now need to access its web interface. If you don't know the IP address of your machine, you can get it by using the command hostname space -I. In our example, you can see that our local IP address is 192.168.0.209. Now open up your favorite web browser and go to http:// followed by your IP address and then the colon symbol and then the port 8096 and then press enter. You'll now be greeted by the Welcome to Jellyfin setup screen. This will allow you to select the language that Jellyfin will use to display the install steps. Select your language and then click the next button. Now fill out a username and password that will be used for your Jellyfin admin account. Make sure you use a secure password as this user will have full access to your Jellyfin Media server. Once done, click next. You can now add your media libraries into Jellyfin by clicking the Add Media Library button. Now, select the content type and choose what this media folder will contain. In our case, we'll select movies. Next, we'll want to add a folder to this library by clicking the plus symbol next to folders. Now use this dialog to select your folder. Remember that these folder names will be the name on the right hand side within the composed file, which in our case is /media. Once we have selected the right folder, we can click the OK button. Now there's various other settings on this page, but you don't really need to mess with them in most situations. You can also add additional folders if you would like. Once you're done, click the OK button. You can now continue to add additional media libraries if you like, but for us we are done, so we'll click the next button. You'll now be asked if you want to set the preferred metadata language. You will want to set the language and country to what most of your media is from. Once done, click next. You'll now be asked if you want to set up remote access. If you want the ability to be able to connect to this server remotely, you'll want to enable both of these options. Please note in that most cases you will still need a port forward at port 8096 for this to actually work. Once done, click the next button. Now click the finish button to finish setting up the Jellyfin Docker container. You'll now need to log in using the account that you created during the setup steps. Fill out your details and click the sign in button. At this point you have successfully set up Jellyfin using a Docker container. If you like this guide, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Until next time, have a good one.